Our next speaker is Dragan Vucic. He's a CEO and a founder of Cyclo Systems. Dragan discusses the alignment of banking automation strategies with data utilization goals. Using 3 banking processes as examples, he demonstrates how AI-driven and traditional automation solutions enhance operational efficiency, customer experience, and regulatory compliance. His session emphasizes the importance of tailoring automation to strategic objectives for maximum impact. Let's welcome Dragan.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today, I will talk about bank automation, but from a kind of different perspective. I will focus on data, of course. You can see a brief agenda for today. I will say a few words about myself and about the Cyclo Systems. My background is in banking sector for about 12 years, from branches through the internal audit department and chief audit executive, and then for last 5 years I was on a C positions as a CFO and CEO in one of regional banks, and last 3-4 years I'm in tech area. So my primary focus is related to business process management, from modeling processes, mapping, automation, business improvements, and digitalization and digital transformation, and of course, at the end, process mining. So, Cyclo Systems, of course, follows the similar areas that I focused on. One stream is related to BPM and the rest, and the second stream is related to development of tech solutions, primarily from in some niches that we decide to jump in. So, as I said, I'm BPM. What about data? Well, my wife is chief data officer, so I had to jump in a bit in data, so like it or not, that's it. I will start with one case that we had a month ago in a big bank. So they use OCR for payment order processing, and they use that, and they did that in middle office and back office. So they would like to change something. So as we as a Cyclo Systems work or developed one OCR solution in this area, we had a conversation, and you can see first 2 out of 5 requirements that they talked on the first meeting. It was a head of IT, head of sales department, and head of card processing department. So first one was it should change the current solution. That's, let's say, clear. They don't like that for the current solution they didn't get update for almost a year. They would like to include this, to exclude that, okay? And the second word, or the second sentence was, it should be AI based. The rest of 3 was a kind, it should include everything. And shall we, or how can we proceed with that? Well, I don't know. We didn't come with pain points, which is maybe relevant, maybe not, because maybe you had a headache, which is pain point, but you don't have problem with your head, but with something else. So we didn't talk about processes, who is involved, which department, which people, what we should proceed, what we should improve. And if we had problems with the current solution, what should be done for a new one, hopefully our solution or some other solution. So during the conversation, of course, it shouldn't be only AI based, but we would like to be Gen AI. Of course, AI is Gen AI. So these statements are probably something that you are familiar with on daily basis. But if we talk about business people, they know or they get the feeling that AI is only Gen AI because they don't have enough information, and they are, of course, heard about hype things all over the day, week, on the business, during the business hours, and looking at different kind of solutions and using usually Copilot or ChatGPT. So again, there is nothing about data. Well, it's important of being or having AI. Of course, many of them starts with technology. We would like to implement ChatGPT, CRM, etc. During the first presentation today, Miroslav talked about CRM in Banca Intesa, but it's easier way to talk about the tool, to talk about solution, but not about the problem and how to solve that and what to choose. Of course, technology is not the solution. Technology is a tool. We have to find or to create approach and to get to the problem from different side than technology one. When you say automation, just a brief reminder, which says simplification of the task. That is simplification of the task by reducing human intervention, or utilization of systems and processes, blah, 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 that then can operate independently, replacing manual labor with machines or software. When we talk about banks, these two things or machines are quite good examples of automation. If we compare these two machines now with those that were in operation in operational use some, let's say, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, what is different? If we have money counting machine now, and for those who were in banking sector some 10 or 15 years ago, what is different? Some guesses? Faster, okay. Something else? In which manner? Sorry? Yeah, that's okay, of course. Well, let's say money counting machine in early 2000, we had a counter of money, of course, but it was a kind of simplified. You have, let's say, 100 of euros, in let's say, of 100 euros, and you have a maybe alert if it is a kind of fraud intention or not. But now you have a kind of list you can get from the money counting machine. There is so many information that you can get from some modern money counting machine that you almost cannot imagine that that this simple machine can get. You can get let's say information that is 15 to 20 different kind of information just for money counting machine, and you can proceed them further if you need it. The similar is for ATMs, which can have now different kind of activities or operations for retail customers or SMEs or big customers, big firms. So difference is data. There is so many data that you can use, but it's questionable how we use it or not at all. Well, in that case, shall we go back to the ground, to the something that is digit or data included? Well, we had automation also in analog world that we had some decades ago, but nowadays automation is completely related, at least in banking sector. It's related to digital world or to digitalization or digital transformation. In all of them, you can have automation. If you are talking about converting analog data to digital, yeah, we have automation. We have machines or approaches that do that in digitization. In digitalization, even more. Of course, digital transformation as a phrase is, I would say, a hype wording similar to AI. So it's usually about digitalization. It's quite rare about digital transformation, or we should go that in the following days. So if we are talking about approaching to automation, it should be primarily similar to the approach that we use for digitalization. What does that mean? Well, it's quite similar for banks to the other business entities, but what is different is that banks like new things, banks like technology, and usually they have funding for most of them, or they will try to find funding for them. When the bank is ready, what does that mean? Well, when I said that automation should be viewed as a digitalization, that means that automation should be a part of our banking or the bank's digitalization approach. That means there should be a vision. Vision means what we want to do. For those who watched the presentation of Michael from Bank of Georgia, that was a great example. We should focus on what we would like to improve, or what we would like to succeed. Not a pain point primarily, as I said a few minutes ago, but what we would like to do. And it's important that we have a shared understanding across the bank. What is the goal of that, and what would be the value that we would like to succeed? Of course, the key elements are aspiration to do that, and time and quantification. Quantification, how do we know that we already there, and when we will get there, but also time in terms of nothing will happen in a month or 3 months. So it should be a vision for a longer period with smaller bites. Alignment. It's quite often to have clashes between different stakeholders within the bank. C-level or CEO, IT or the director of IT, someone from data if that department exists, and of course business people who are, let's say, on the ground regarding to business. So everyone should understand their role, and they must cooperate in order to get bank ready for the changes, automation or digitalization. So some key elements you can see that: shared sense of accountability, common understanding, etc. Clear roles and responsibilities. So is it top down or bottom up? It's hard to say. Of course, decision making is going from up to bottom, but information and real data are going bottom up. And commitment. Well, it says no change is possible without commitment. Yeah, if we have a vision, have alignment, and then all of a sudden someone who has not power, I would like to say, power to be a sponsor of these changes, nothing will happen. So you can see here, management led by C-level. It would be great if, of course, depending on the size of the changes and automation projects, it's the best, of course, is CEO, but someone with power, it shouldn't be a CEO. So we should have vision, alignment, and commitment puzzles in order to get bank ready to changes. Well, how to choose what to focus on? We look at feasibility and value. What does that mean? Well, we should identify potential improvements that we should make. Shall we automate customer onboarding? Maybe. Online marketing? I don't know. AI for something? I don't know. But once we have different options or suggestions, we should look at the feasibility and value. That means that we shouldn't take a quite big portion that it's not feasible, even though it has a great value, but it's not really feasible. Or we cannot prove a feasibility in advance. So it's important to have small bites. Why does it important? Well, if you have a small bite and then make it if you have a small bite with value that is, let's say, okay, but it's really feasible to do that, will convince all stakeholders, okay, we started with a small bite, we decided to go with that, we proved the concept, and we succeed, and it has a value. It's easier to go to the next step. If we get a big bite and say, okay, we'll finish that, it's a great project, we'll do this and that, we'll improve that and that, but it will happen in 2 years. Probably you will not succeed with that. So it's important to look at, of course, the value, but feasibility. What will happen if you get wrong in a 2 months with a big bite, probably you will not get, or you will hardly get another option to go with your project, with your idea and the realization of that idea. Well, it's quite known that we should look at the processes, employees, and technology. Of course, I will focus only this time at employees. That means that we should have a knowledge. We should have a knowledge for automation, digitalization. Without knowledge, we will not get anywhere. So we must involve them to identify champions, if you are talking about process or data champions, or some other champions that will lead and believe in the project that you proceed. But you must have them. Of course, processes, you must identify which kind of processes are involved and who is what in which process. Of course, technology will get, I would say, at the end, but the thing that integrate all of them is data. So when we talk about project of automation, we must take into account context, as you see, internal stakeholders, but also these four are more important. I will start from the bottom, data utilization. That means that if you look at the automation, you must think about, okay, I will get some information. How can I use that? Because what we see recently, the other day I talked with a friend, they implemented DMS, and I asked, okay, but can you use that data? And he said, yes, we can. And how? We can take a PDF from DMS, okay, but can you extract any data from that PDF? No. Why? Because it's low quality of the PDFs. So we must think about data in advance, not to get, okay, it's a quite big project to have documents in the document management system, and then all of a sudden you figure out that you cannot use it for the new things or the things that you would like to do to extract data, to compare, to work on data quality, and to compare, let's say, documents that you get with documents that you already have in your document management system, but it's too late. So you must think about utilization in advance. So there is some tools that you can use now, but also you must figure out how could be used that data in a year, 5 years, and how to get value from data that you get from automated process or sub-process. And it's never-ending job. So if you are talking about data and digital things, it's never-ending. You have internal, external data, different kind of inbounds, outbounds, etc. But how to utilize that data is a biggest issue. The last slide. Does someone of you familiar with this? It's a process mining. What does that mean? If we have data within our processes, we can do quite quite a great analysis of the whole processes. Bottlenecks, to compare different branches, to compare whatever you would like. And of course, to find afterwards, to analyze or to get the analysis now by Gen AI, which analyze the process mining, let's say in a 1 hour, and to get the full analysis of processes and each piece of process or sub-process or whatever. And of course, this is process mining analysis by Celonis, and this is thing that you can get if you have data. That means prediction for the future. But when you have data and you identify what would you like to get, or what is the target, you will get prediction, of course, if you have data. So automation is related completely to process. Process is completely related to data. So there is no improvement without data. And if we have data that could be quite interesting, and you can get it in a short period of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dragan.